The Galactic Armory on Station Kepler-7 housed weapons from across 43 civilizations. Anya stood before the display case, her dark eyes reflecting the amber glow of the containment field. Inside rested the Graviton Warhammer, a weapon of legend, a relic from the extinct Thoral warrior caste. "You're certain about this?" Leo asked, adjusting his tactical vest as he approached from behind. His boots echoed against the polished obsidian floor. "The requisition form says it requires 2 operators minimum. Class A gravitational resistance implants required." Anya smiled, the kind of smile that made alien dignitaries nervous during trade negotiations. "I read the specifications." The station's armory master, a towering Velcrin with 4 arms and iridescent scales, emerged from the shadows of the vault. His name was the Xiller, and he'd served in this capacity for 30 cycles. He'd seen countless warriors attempt to wield weapons beyond their capacity. Most ended in medical bays. Some ended in crematoriums. "Human operatives," the Xiller's voice rumbled through his translator implant. "I must warn you, the Graviton Warhammer was designed for the Thoral, whose physical density is 3 times that of your species. The weapon generates a localized gravity field that amplifies its effective mass to approximately 2,000 kilograms during combat operations." 2 metric tons, Leo whistled low. "That's why it needs 2 operators." "Indeed, 1 to stabilize, 1 to strike. Even then, most species require powered exoskeletons." The Xiller's secondary arms gestured toward the case. "The Thoral civilization fell precisely because they created weapons too powerful for even themselves to wield safely. This hammer crushed as many Thoral warriors as it did enemies." Anya stepped closer to the containment field. The hammer was magnificent, nearly 2 meters of reinforced graviton-folded alloy, its head inscribed with angular Thoral script that seemed to shift in the light. The handle was wrapped in some kind of preserved leather, worn smooth by ancient hands. "We need it for the breach on Adaran 9, Anya said. "The Skrull have fortified positions behind crystalline barriers. Nothing else in your arsenal can penetrate them." "Then I suggest orbital bombardment." "Too many civilian casualties," Leo interjected. "The colony can't be evacuated in time. We need precision." The Xiller's scales rippled, a Velcrin expression of doubt. "The Skrull are formidable, but sending humans with inadequate equipment is not precision. It is suicide." "We didn't come here to debate," Anya said, her voice calm but firm. "Authorize the requisition." The armory master regarded her for a long moment. Humans were relatively new to the Galactic Coalition, barely 2 generations since first contact. They were physically unimpressive compared to most species. No natural armor, no enhanced sensory organs, no redundant biological systems. Yet they'd earned a reputation for stubborn unpredictability. "Very well." The Xiller's upper arms moved across the holographic interface. The containment field shimmered and dissolved. "Sign the liability waiver. When you're crushed by your own weapon, I will not be held responsible." Leo signed first, his biometric signature appearing in glowing blue script. Anya followed. The Xiller gestured toward the hammer. "Demonstrate that you can even lift it together. Then we discuss deployment." Leo approached first, wrapping both hands around the lower portion of the handle. He set his stance, legs shoulder-width apart, and pulled. The hammer didn't budge. He adjusted, recruiting his legs and back into the effort. The weapon shifted slightly, rising perhaps a centimeter before Leo released it with a grunt. "Christ," he gasped. "That's not 2,000 kilos. The gravity field is already active." "Passive field," the Xiller confirmed. "Combat mode triples the effect. Now both of you." Leo positioned himself at the lower grip while Anya moved to the upper handle. "On 3, she said. 1, 2, 3. They lifted in unison. The hammer rose, wobbling, held between them at waist height. Both humans were straining, muscles taut, breathing hard. Adequate, the Xiller said. You may be able to transport it too. Anya's voice cut through. Leo, let go. What? Trust me, let go. Leo released his grip and stepped back. The hammer should have fallen, should have crashed to the floor or dragged Anya down with it. Instead, she adjusted her stance, shifted her grip, and in one smooth motion swung the warhammer up to rest against her shoulder like a construction worker carrying lumber. The chamber fell silent. The Xiller's translator failed to activate for several seconds, as if even the machine couldn't process what it was witnessing. When it finally engaged, his voice was barely a whisper. That's not possible. Anya rotated her shoulder, testing the weight distribution. It's heavy, I'll give you that, but manageable. She took 3 steps forward, the hammer balanced perfectly. The center of gravity is good. Whoever designed this understood ergonomics. Leo was grinning now, that wild grin he got before particularly insane combat operations. Show off. The passive field alone should prevent. The Xiller's 4 arms were gesturing frantically at his display. Your biological readings. I don't understand. Your muscle density is standard for your species. No augmentation, no skeletal reinforcement. How? Anya lowered the hammer carefully, letting its head rest on the floor with a thunderous boom that cracked the obsidian tiles. Human evolution favored endurance over power. We're persistence hunters. Our ancestors ran prey to exhaustion across savannas under Earth's gravity, which, I should mention, is higher than 70% of coalition worlds. Gravity doesn't explain this, the Xiller protested. No, Leo said, walking over to examine the cracked floor. But leverage does. Watch. He pointed to how Anya had positioned her body. She's not fighting the weight, she's working with it. Humans spent millennia developing techniques to move objects heavier than ourselves, pulleys, levers, scaffolding. We built pyramids and cathedrals before we had powered machinery. And there's something else, Anya added, hefting the hammer again with a grunt of effort. The Thorol might have been physically denser, but I'm willing to bet they never trained with unbalanced loads. Earth has CrossFit, strongman competitions, construction work. We're used to awkward, heavy objects. She demonstrated by walking a circuit around the armory floor, the hammer on her shoulder. Each step was deliberate, controlled. The passive gravity field actually helps with stability. Once you understand the weight distribution, it anchors your movements. The Xiller consulted his display again. The combat mode. Will be heavier, yes. Anya set the hammer down again. But in combat, you don't carry, you swing. Momentum does the work. I'm not going to be walking around with this thing active. I'll activate it on approach, strike, deactivate for repositioning. The armory master was silent for a long moment. Then his scales shifted to a pattern Leo had learned indicated grudging respect. The Thorol required 2 operators because they focused on static power. They planted themselves and struck like siege weapons. You're proposing mobile deployment. Exactly. This is either brilliant or catastrophic. Anya's smile returned. Human military history is full of both, sometimes simultaneously. 6 hours later, Anya and Leo materialized in the drop zone on Adarin 9. The colony sprawled below, a cluster of prefabricated structures surrounded by the characteristic purple vegetation of the planet's ecosystem. Beyond the colony perimeter, scrawl fortifications glowed with energy shields, and behind them, the crystalline barriers rose like walls of frozen lightning. Anya activated the Graviton Warhammer's combat mode. She felt the weight triple instantly, the gravity field pulling at every atom in her body. But she'd spent the transport flight preparing, visualizing, remembering every heavy carry she'd ever done. Targets acquired, Leo said, his rifle up, covering their advance. 4 defensive positions, 14 Skrull combatants detected. Anya started forward, each step an act of will. The hammer felt like she was dragging a small vehicle, but she'd dragged plenty in her time. Humanity had been dragging, pushing, lifting, and carrying since before written history. The first scrawl emerged, weapons charging. Leo's rifle spoke in sharp bursts, suppressing fire that bought Anya the second she needed. She planted her feet, drew the hammer back, and swung. The graviton warhammer struck the crystalline barrier with the force of a small meteorite. The barrier didn't crack, it exploded into clouds of glittering dust. The shockwave knocked 3 Skrull off their feet. Anya was already moving to the next target, the hammer's momentum carrying into her next swing. Strike, reposition, strike again. Each impact was calculated destruction. Leo watched his partner work, providing cover fire, and couldn't help but think of the Xiller's shocked expression. The galaxy was still learning what humans could do. The Skrull never stood a chance. When the last barrier fell, Anya deactivated the combat mode and let the hammer rest against her shoulder once more. Sweat poured down her face, her arms trembled with exhaustion, but she was grinning. Mission accomplished, she radioed back to command. Leo joined her, looking at the devastation. You know this is going to become a whole thing, right? Human carries weapon meant for 2 like luggage. Good, Anya said. Let them talk. Maybe next time they'll think twice before underestimating us. Above them, the colony's rescue sirens began to sound, not warnings but celebrations. Another human impossibility added to a growing list. And in the armory of Station Kepler 7, the Xiller was already updating the graviton warhammer's requisition form. Warning: human operators may ignore specified crew requirements.